like we'll be starting in about 1 minute, so waiting till 5 o'clock to give everybody a chance to join if they're going to do it live. If you're on right now and are wondering about what you'll need for this session, all you'll really need is something comfortable to sit on. It can be a bolster, it could be a block, it could be the floor, or even a chair. So whatever you find comfortable to sit on for about 20 minutes will be great. Awesome, so it's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining me. We'll be celebrating the winter solstice. We're just happy that it's here, and our days will start getting longer, and working a little bit on what I'm calling zoomitis. That's not technically a term, but I think everybody knows what I'm talking about when I talk about zoomitis. So if you just want to get into a comfortable seated position, as I was just saying, it can be on the floor or it can be on a bolster or something similar. If you want to do that, it can be on a block. It could even be on a chair. We're not going to be doing too much with our lower body tonight, so it just needs to be comfortable and something you can stay in for a while. And once you're comfortable, and I'm sorry my fan is going on my stove. I heated it up a little bit down here and now it's still going, but I think that noise will stop momentarily. But when I think about zoomitis, or when I ask my classes what they need to work on or want to work on, it usually is the shoulders, the back of the neck, the head, the face. It involves a lot. So we're actually going to start with our spine and work up through our shoulders and into our face, and a lot with our neck. And I'll give you some stretches you can do even while you're sitting at your desk or at your chair that might help with some of that Zoom fatigue that we're feeling, or some of that tension that we're feeling after we've been on the computer all day. So just start, like I said, comfortable. If you're sitting crisscross, try to get your knees level with your hips if that's possible. And then we're just going to start to lengthen our spine. So by that I mean we just want to make ourselves nice and tall, but we want our belly button pulled in. We don't want our back overarching. We want our back to have a natural curve in the lower back, but not overarching. We want our the core engaged to keep us nice and tall. And then we're just going to imagine somebody has a string attached to the crown of our head, and they're trying to make us a little bit taller. So creating space between each vertebrae, but at the same time dropping our shoulders down. Sometimes what we do is we end up punching everything up to get taller, but we want to keep the shoulders down. I'm going to slightly squeeze my shoulder blades together. So imagine that I've given you a pencil and I put it between your shoulder blades, and I want you to hold it there with just your shoulder blades. Just squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other, squeezing that pencil, and that should bring your shoulders back to where they're naturally supposed to be. Although all day everything that we do draws our shoulders forward, so we're going to bring them back. And then we're just going to start doing some shoulder rolls backwards. You can drop your hands if you want to. Keep squeezing those shoulder blades together as you roll the shoulders back and down, letting your shoulder blades slide down your back. Good. Nice. And then we'll stop. If you're on a chair, just bring your hands out to the edge of the chair. If you're on the floor, you can bring your fingertips out. And we're just going to drop our right ear to our right shoulder. And you can walk those left fingers out, really trying to create length from your ear all the way down through the shoulder, lengthening this muscle on the outside of the neck. Again, keep that spine nice and tall. Keep breathing. It's your body's reward. Good. And then we'll drop left ear to left shoulder and walk those right fingers out, creating length on that side of the neck. And breathing. Good. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I've been looking forward to this. Awesome. Let's drop our right ear to our right collarbone, creating a little bit different stretch in our neck. And again, use your fingers as much or as little as you need to create length. You can even bring them back, draw them forward, wherever you feel the tension. Good, and then let's switch other ear to other collarbone. Again, keeping that spine tall, keeping those shoulder blades sliding down our back. Very good, and then coming back to center. So on this one, we're going to keep that spine nice and tall again, keep our neck in line with our spine, and just drop our chin. So we feel lengthening in the back of our neck from the base of our skull down through our shoulder blades. And then we're going to lift our chin, opening up our throat. Keep breathing. Good, and drop the chin, lengthening the back of the neck. And open the chin, open the neck, the throat. Good, and then coming back to center. Now again, keeping that spine nice and tall, everything in alignment. We're just going to turn and look over our right shoulder. So it's a twist in the neck on this one. Everything else is straight. I'm still squeezing those shoulder blades together, and I'm just turning and twisting through the neck. Not so far that it hurts and you can't breathe, but so that you feel a gentle stretch. Good, and then we'll turn and look the other way. Keep breathing. Good, and then come back to center. You can place your hands anywhere for this next part just so that you're comfortable. And we're just going to do some neck rolls. Again, think about keeping that spine nice and straight and tall. And we're just going to roll the neck. But if you get to a spot where you feel a lot of tension or it's tight, you can stop there for a moment and just allow it to soften as you draw your breath in deep and then sigh it out. You might hear some crunching in your neck. I know I do. Good. Nice. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center. Very good. So this next part is going to focus on the top part of our shoulders and stretching that out. So we're going to bring our arms up to a 90. Again, though, I'm keeping my shoulder blades sliding down my back. My shoulders are relaxed. You can just bring your forearms together if you want. For some people, this is enough, and that's great. If that's where you're at today, that's great. Otherwise, let's bring right under left, and we're going to lift through our elbows, but keep those shoulders relaxed and down. Lift through our elbows, but shoulders are relaxed and down. Maybe you're even able to put opposite fingers in opposite palm. As you know, this is eagle arms. And keep lifting through the elbows. The higher you can get the elbows, the more you'll feel the stretch through the shoulders. And then just let the shoulder blades slide down your back, feeling that stretch across the top of your shoulders. Keep breathing. Keep that spine nice and tall. Engage the core to create space for all your organs. So in other words, we don't want to be slumped over doing this one. We want to be tall. Keep lifting through the fingers. Nice. And go ahead and relax. Try not to shake anything out in between. We'll do a few shoulder rolls back. Hopefully you felt that across the tops of your shoulders. And we'll come back up. Again, bringing our forearms together, depending on how tight your shoulders are. If you're able, we'll do other hand underneath now. So left under right. Lifting through the fingertips, lifting through the elbows, lifting but keeping the shoulder blades relaxed. And then if you're able, put opposite fingers in opposite palm. If you do this one though, make sure that your fingers are still going up. Try not to get them all cattywampus, just to get your fingers in your palm. Keep lifting through the elbows, but drop those shoulder blades. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Allow them to stretch and lengthen. Good. Keep lifting just a little bit more. Keep breathing. Oxygen is your body's reward. Don't hold your breath. Nice. And release. Good. So if your legs are crossed like mine, let's switch them. We don't want one side to be favored over the other side. So now for this next part, we're going to start working into our forearms a little bit and our fingers. So we're going to interlace our fingers and press through the palms. We're really pressing and opening up the insides of the fingers and the palms. Thumbs are towards the floor and our shoulders are still down. We don't want to hunch them up. So pressing, 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 trying to bring our arm bones together. We're going to reach up above our head. Now if you can't go all the way, that's okay. I'd like you to keep your arm bones straight, bring your arm bones as close into your ears as possible, and keep pressing through those palms. If you can keep the thumbs open, that's even better. If not, that's okay. That's just not where you're at today. And if you can only get right here with straight arms, that's great. That's where you're at today. Meet your body where it's at today. So keeping the spine straight, keeping the shoulders relaxed, a natural curve in the lower back. We're not straining the lower back at all. We're just pressing up, bringing those arm bones in a little bit closer. Good. And we'll bring it back down slowly. We're going to turn our hands back. We're going to switch the interlace with the other little fingers on the bottom now. And then we'll press through. Again, really opening up the palms of the hands, feeling the stretch through the fingers. Thumbs are towards the floor, shoulders are relaxed. And then we'll reach up, same thing again, only go as far as you're able today. Meet your body where it's at. Press up through the palms. I find that a lot of Zoom fatigue or zoomitis also involves our fingers, our palms, our forearms. So we'll be working a little bit on those too. I think I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Good. Bring the arm bones in a little closer to the ears if you can. Stretch a little taller. Press through the fingers. Keep breathing. Keep your face soft. Nice. And come all the way back down. Good. Ooh, how do those fingers feel? Let's go back and loosen up those shoulders that we worked earlier. Good. Now we're going to reach both hands up. I'm going to clasp my right hand with my left fingers, or my right wrist, I should say, and just pull that arm gently, opening up. I'm actually opening up all down through my armpit and through my rib cage on this one. But notice I'm not collapsing. We don't ever want to collapse. We want to stay nice and tall and engaged. Not collapsing, pulling, pulling, pulling. And breathing. Good. Release. Let's go to the other side. Open up those ribs. Feel that armpit open up. Part of yoga is also creating space. Makes our organs much, much happier when they have space to function. Nice. And back to center. So before we come off our bolsters, I just want to think about our face a little bit and relaxing our face. I actually read an article yesterday that said that if our face is like scrunched up and we're stressed and our forehead is scrunched up, that it's really hard for the rest of our body to relax, that nobody parts will relax or feel relaxed if your face is scrunched up. So I just want you to think about softening your face and just letting gravity, I guess, take over. Not that it's pulling it down, but just having that nice, soft, gentle, relaxed feeling in your face. And then think about broadening your eyebrows. So instead of scowling at your computer, just think about letting your eyebrows broaden. This one's actually easier to do laying down, but not very many of us are working on our computer laying down. And so just softening, and then also letting your eyeballs sink into the eye sockets. And that sounds really weird, but I think sometimes when we get stressed, we actually like put pressure behind our eyes and they kind of start pulsing out almost. Not that anybody else would probably see it, but just thinking about letting your eyeballs sink into your eyes. So we're going to close our eyes here for just a minute and practice that. It's very, very subtle, but the first thing I want you to do before we get to our eyeballs is soften your forehead. And then think about broadening that space between your eyebrows. So just soften your forehead to the point that your eyebrows settle into a more relaxed position. And then feel the tension leave your temples as you soften down along your hairline. Your jaw should be soft and your teeth are not clenched. And then let your tongue just relax in your mouth. So it shouldn't be pressed against the back of your teeth or the roof of your mouth. It should just be relaxed in your mouth. And when we breathe, we think of it as a sighing type of breath. So we're not blowing our breath out like we're blowing a candle out. We just sigh so that we feel it along the back of our throat when we're relaxing. And you can either breathe in through your nose or through your mouth. It's preferable through your nose, but if that's not available to you, you can breathe through your mouth. And now as your face begins or continues to soften, just think about letting your eyeballs just sink a little bit deeper into the eye sockets and relax. And now along the hairline of your scalp and of your skull, just let all of that relax. So think about, instead of pulling your hairline forward and scrunching your face so that everything comes forward, just almost let gravity pull your hair back, letting your face soften. I know that sounds weird, but if you practice it for a while, you can actually feel it, where everything just softens and it allows your face to become softer and less tense. Good. So we won't stay in that very long tonight, but just think about that when you're sitting in front of your computer. If you get stressed, notice if you have your brow is furrowed, or if you're pulling everything forward, or if your eyes are bulging, especially your jaw. I always think about my jaws. As soon as I start to feel stressed, I notice my jaw and my tongue, because that's usually where I carry mine, is right here. And then my neck gets tight, and then pretty soon my shoulders are tight because my neck is tight because my jaw is tight. So if we just soften all of that, that can help with a lot of that tension. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is a little bit more wrist work. You can come off of your bolster. If you're at home and you're standing, you could actually do this on a counter or someplace if you have a surface where you could put your hands like this. If you're in tabletop like I am, you want your shoulders, your elbows, and your wrist all in line. And then again, pull that belly button into that spine. So we don't want anything collapsed down. We want our belly button engaged. We want our shoulders full. So we don't want to be collapsing into our shoulders either. We want those full. We're going to take our right hand and just rotate our thumb around as far as we can. So for some of you, if you're really tight, you might only be able to get to a 90-degree angle. For others, you might be able to get your fingers all the way towards your knees. And then keep pressing away. Keep those shoulders full. Keep the spine engaged. Keep the core engaged. Nothing is collapsing. Good. We'll release that one. We're going to go to the other hand. So rotating our other hand towards our knees, and rotating the thumb away from the midline, fingers towards the knees. Keep breathing. Can't forget that. Keep that face soft. Keep the shoulders full, not collapsed, but also not tensed up around your ears. Good. And bring that hand forward. Now, as you get more agile, you'll actually be able to do both hands at the same time. Let's take back to the first hand. Rotate your pinky in towards the midline now. So now we're doing an inward twist through that forearm. We used to call these snake bites when we were kids. My brother and I would twist each other's forearms. And it was kind of our way of getting back at each other. But little did we know we were probably doing something good for our muscles. Good. Release that one. We'll go to the other hand and rotate that pinky towards the midline. This is also good for carpal tunnel, which I think we'll be developing more as we work through all of this virtual stuff that we're doing. And again, you can do these like maybe on your countertop. Sometimes I do them standing on blocks, like bent over in forward fold on blocks. but just make sure that you get that nice straight arm so you can get a good twist. Very good. And we'll come back to our comfortable seated position. I'm not going to grab my bolster this time. I'll just sit on the floor for this last little bit. So we're going to bring our hands together, drop our hands down. Notice I have a straight line from elbow to elbow, but also my shoulders are relaxed. Okay, so sometimes when I do this one, I see people do this, which is undoing all that fabulous work that we did. So keep those shoulder blades sliding down your back, and then just bring your hands down so you create a 90-degree angle between the top of your hand and your forearm right here. Good. Now if that's tight, just go as far as you can. Good. Keep breathing. Keep that spine nice and straight. And then we'll bring the tops of our hands together. So again, shoulders are down and back, a straight line from elbow to elbow, and I'm creating the 90-degree angle underneath now by bringing the tops of my hands together. Good. So hopefully these are some things that you can do while sitting at your desk. We'll do some wrist rolls here, or throughout the day if you're struggling with headaches or eye tension or eye strain, Zoom fatigue. These are little things that you can maybe do. I will leave this video up for about 24 hours. If you want a copy of it, let me know. I can save it and send it to you. And also don't forget that if you haven't checked out my longest day page, that's still open as well through the winter solstice. Shining my light for my mom during the winter solstice and anybody that's dealing with dementia during this time. So thanks for joining me. That was fun, you guys. I looked forward to it. I hope it helps. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And who knows, maybe I'll do one of these again before the break is over. So good night. Thanks for joining.